Hello and welcome to Naija's Geeking podcast. This is episode 210 and the weekend of Kendrick Lamar. In honor of that, Dapo is wearing a mustard t-shirt and Kex is wearing mustard as well. I mean, I'm so happy these guys are representing. But yeah, to kick things off, Red, how are you doing?
I see you're still trying to try out this your career in comedy. It's not working. Um, let's stick to
I'm sure you enjoyed the album all weekend as well. I'm sure. I'm sure.
what album?
Kex, how are you? The only album that dropped. Kex, how are you doing?
I'm fine today. How are you? Can
Yeah,
we?
I was surprised you allowed me to do the intro, but yeah.
Said, let me just give it to you as per K dots. Okay.
Exactly. You get it.
All right.
Dapo, how are you doing?
Well, I was doing well until you started mentioning that's overhyped, overrated. Wanna be rapper. I beg you.
Please don't chase away our remaining fans from this podcast.
I know we're going to lose half the listeners if they're credit fans, but maybe we're better off about them anyway.
No, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay. So yeah, this week Dapo wants to talk about Superman and Lois, but nobody
Is this series not over yet?
I
don't understand.
Apparently, there are two more
episodes. So the lights are almost at the end of the channel.
I'm not going to say anything much about this.
Like forever, like the ends.
No. Basically,
yes.
Superman is now out. Everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows who the family is. That's going on. Lex is now wants to get a killer suit. He's now looking like the Lex we know from the comics. He's shaved his beard. He's gone a full dapper look. So they did this very, well, it's not corny. Let me fair to them. They wanted to say at the end of the last episode, before the latest one, they went, Lex, it's time to get you a killer suit. And obviously, I thought the classic Lex Luthor
green and purple
killer suit.
Yeah.
Then they start the new episode off with him getting a killer suit, I think the proper suits.
Oh, good.
But the end of the episode, as we're looking at something and say, yes, that's a killer suit.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what they do, cut off the short, they're hacking. They hire somebody who I believe is Brainiac. It's not clear to hack into Steel and Starlight suits. They take control. They use it to fight Superman and the kids. The kids manage to win, but one of the suits is now they take it, and that's they're modifying, and that's going to become the classic Lex Luthor suit from the comics.
Yeah.
But why are you watching the show?
I am committed to bringing the news to our fans, to our listeners. Some of us have to do the work. It's not all about good enjoyment. Sometimes you just have to put in the hard work. You're not to learn from me on this.
We appreciate.
I don't know why X is big me.
We appreciate your service. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. So moving on, the main topic for today is the evolution of superheroes over the years. So last week when we were talking about Absolute Comics, we touched on this briefly, on how the Superman that is being shown there is a return to the classic Superman from the original comics. But this week, we'll be tracing how superheroes as a concept has evolved from the 1930s to today. Because the characters that we know today, they've changed, their motivations have changed, the way comics are being written has changed completely, reflecting the times and each particular era. So Kex, kicking us off.
Oh, you want me to kick off with the I will call it the most boring decade. That's like the 30s. No, I'm sorry. I will call it the most boring decade, but
it can't be the most boring, surely.
No. I think even as a child, I found it. That's like the advent of like the DC ones. We're talking about like Superman, Wonder Woman, and Captain America.
But Batman,
Batman. Sorry. Those were like the early years. I don't really have much to contribute. It was all about, I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, struggling
They,
to.
they were also the most black and white era.
The good guys were the good guys.
Good
The
guys
white
were good guys and black
yeah,
black. So
yeah.
there wasn't.
And I
there
think
wasn't any-
So
he was.
I would disagree with that entirely.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
no, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Let me just
Okay.
say this. It was,
Okay.
and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm talking about 30s and 40s here.
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
bad guys were mainly the Germans or the Nazis or the Jerrys, or it was like we
Yeah.
had clear
Yeah.
defined bad guys, or this guy is a German scientist or a German.
No, that's the you are talking about after World War II. That's
yeah
1930s.
30s and 40s.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we're in the middle of
I believe
World War.
like 30s and 40s together.
Yeah.
40, oh, okay.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
I don't have a great deal. To say
Why does that disagree?
Yeah.
So, weirdly enough, the heroes from that era were a lot darker than people give credit.
Darker?
that people realize. Yes.
Yes. They were quick to kill. They were quick. Batman, even Batman, Superman, they were all of a dark bent. Even Captain America of that era. And when we get to the 50s, you will see why it changed in the 50s. But literally that era, comics were not. They were child friendly, but they were not nice. They were not nice in a weird manner.
Okay.
Which now played when we get to the 50s, it kind of played into when they started talking about how the comics are corrupted.
But the good guys were good guys and the bad guys were bad guys.
So,
Whether they
for
killed or
example,
not.
when Superman came out,
Yeah.
Superman was the kind of guy that was throwing industrialists off buildings
Yes.
for them to confess their crimes.
Yeah.
That it was. Yeah, it was.
They were more heroes in the light of how Wolverine's a hero, how Batman, I guess, is a hero.
Now you're applying sensibilities from this time to that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
What I'm saying is,
okay.
the heroes got lighter after that era.
Yeah,
They got
because
lighter.
of sensibilities, right? But at the time,
No.
okay,
I'm not talking about now. They got lighter and then they got darker.
darker. Okay,
So after they started dark, got lighter. Even though at one point they were forced to get lighter.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
And then they started going back. Oh, sorry, go on.
I'll say something. So today, in a situation where Superman throws somebody off a building in the 30s and the 40s, or Batman throws somebody off a building, you don't see the person go splat. Let's be clear. It is. It's the same way bad guy and good guys in westerns. You know, they'll come with their gun and they'll shoot. Pa, pa, pa.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't see blood.
Yeah.
But it is like,
they're
you know, good guy wins, bad guy loses.
Yeah.
It could be he gets killed. Superman could punch somebody and the person will be on the moon. So it was almost cartoonish in the violence, even in the violence then. It wasn't,
I agree the lines were very drawn.
Yeah.
In terms of
there was no moral ambiguity.
This is who we support.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are the bad people. Yeah. But then the good people can do whatever they like to the bad
people.
That's what I meant by the black and white line.
Yeah. So it was very like if you read those comics now, and if you put the Superman of those days and Superman now, they will be enemies. It will be a villain, basically. So that's why it's interesting when you go back to those days and how these guys were envisioned. Back then, Superman was not created to be at first. It was not I'm not sure it was a nationalistic figure. It was a wrestler. It was basically dressed in a wrestler's costume.
He was Moses.
It was Moses, exactly.
With almost a Moses type of morality as well, in a weird way. So, and to be honest, even when you look at the origin of Batman, weird enough, from what I understand, it's not. It's dark. Well, not dark, but it's very black and white. Criminals, I'm going to prey on the criminals. I'm going to use fear, all that stuff. Then you get Wonder Woman's origin. Wonder Woman is darker than you can ever think of.
Do you guys know the origin? Tunde?
Yeah, Marston.
I don't think I do. I mean, are you talking about the Marston guy himself?
Yes.
I think somebody has told me before.
And how he used that comic to promote sadomasochism.
Suspicion of exactly.
So you know that. I think the lightest hero of that era would have been Captain Marvel when he came out. You know, and I think his rise and his rise in popularity also affected how they started changing Superman to make him lighter, to match that light. Yeah. But 40s, I guess we have to hail it as a start. I mean, Marvel was not doing much then, but they had Captain America, they had Human.
Who was fighting Nazis and all of that. Yeah. And then we get to the 50s where Captain America stops fighting Nazis and starts fighting communists.
The 50s, in a way, I would say it's a bad era for comics.
It is.
So I don't know if you guys saw this, but that was today. I don't know if you saw this where we checked it out.
Yeah.
That's like the introduction of the Comic Book Authority Code.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where, to your point, that but where there was now, okay, there are certain things you can't do because kids can now think this is okay.
These are for kids,
and the sensibilities again, Red had kind of started to change.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, we can't quite go this far. And I think that was also the introduction of some new genres. You know, sci-fi and horror actually
became a thing.
Yeah.
The 50s was when the moon race started. Everybody was looking to space.
Very true.
Yeah, that's why now heroes like Fantastic Four.
Very true.
No. You're going too far.
Yeah.
That was 60s, yeah?
You're better 60s already.
Okay, I'm combining them together.
But I see his point in terms of, sorry, that one. That was when there was that whole moon race, that whole space race going on around that period where it was like, there was, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these old-timey pictures of what they thought the future would be like, what they thought the 90s.
Helmets.
Yeah, people wearing helmets.
Yeah,
like they thought exactly. You know, people wearing these Plutonian helmets, living on the moon.
There were also a bunch of comics that were not just DC or Marvel.
They're doing lots,
Yeah.
I mean, because in the early 50s, you had a lot of horror, this is part of why the comic code
Creature
came down.
from the Swamp, all those kind of Creature from the Dark Lagoon. Sorry, Black Lagoon.
I think Journey into Mystery was from that era as well, originally.
Okay.
But then, obviously, the comic code came in, communism. Also, I think the American public had a big bugbear about writers, and they were seen as communists, basically.
True. Or Bohemians,
So, but towards the end of the 50s, as you said, sci-fi took over, and that's when DC basically, you know what? Let's really kick. Because by this time, the old school comics were not selling anymore. So they reinvented the Silver Age, I guess, end of 2050. That's when Silver new Flash, a new more sci-fi Green Lantern came along, and it kicked off the Silver Age is what it's called. So I think 50 was a bad time for comics, but also it was a rebirth of the genre towards the end.
And Superman in the Silver Age was, oh my god, terrible. That's when he was sneezing planets. His power levels were completely ridiculous.
You need to finish that statement. Sneezing planets into another dimension.
And to be honest, that whole era lasted from late 50s to almost 70s.
Yeah.
Especially in DC. When they were doing all of that, it's I'll let you go.
No, just there was a comic book that I read. It wasn't back then, but it was from that time where I think Superman he tied his cape around the moon or something ridiculous like that. You know, I was like, okay.
That age was anybody with an idea can just write anything. There's no need for scientific backing. No need at all. And nobody cared.
If you can imagine it, it's a power set.
Like it's an interesting thing now where right now imagination is always tied to, oh, this is not logical, this does not make sense. But back then anything goes, everything happens. Anything could happen in your story.
We have to be also, when we talk about comics, and I'm talking about superhero comics here now. The audience then was clearly kids, 40s, 50s. So I say kids. Back then, even when they went to war, a lot of the soldiers were like teens as well, and so
Bucky,
that type. So, but as the years go through, I think one of the things I want to be touching on in the decades is how the reading age, or people seem to have grown with the comics and
Comics,
the writers,
yeah.
and the
True.
how mature the comics are. And just one little footnote for the 50s. And
Yeah.
this pure babele. That was the decade. That was the decade that DC bullied forced comics into submission.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we have Shazam out of that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But one last topic. One last point.
Shazam is new 52 though.
Sorry?
Shazam is new 52.
And that's because of what happened then. We have Shazam now. I'll try to point out.
Will always be Captain Marvel for me. Always be Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
the last point I'll make for the 50s is that's when Spider-Man was created, and that was like the first, teenage, very relatable character
50s.
for people. 50s, 60s.
No.
Yeah.
It's not 50 at all.
You sure?
Marvel started in the 60s.
I think Stan and Jack Kirby were 60s. I think that was when
okay. 62. 62, right, but I thought 52.
So basically, DC started the whole comic thing again late 50s.
Yeah.
And then Stan was already there at Timely Comics.
But
come to the 60s, he decided, I can't be writing this rubbish anymore. I need to leave.
But to be fair, it was rubbish. It was rubbish. Even anybody who argued, nobody can argue that.
There was no. And I think the popular story is in the 60s. Is why I said, listen, if you're going to leave anyway, why don't you just write the comic you want to write?
Yeah,
you've got to leave anyway. Why don't do it? And then that's when he did Fantastic Four. And to give credit again to DC, there was a feeling that he saw the popularity of what DC had done with Justice League in terms of the team.
Was there a Justice League then?
Yep. Yes. So
yes.
see what he just started.
League of Society. Oh, okay.
No, League. Justice League. Yeah. So it was a big hit for them. And the Marvel guy said, I want my team.
Yeah.
And then start with a team that will fight it among themselves. What you do?
Okay. So over to the 60s now, I'm still more into the Silver Age and the introduction of Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four. This is where Marvel really, started to hit their stride with Ditko and Kirby and Stan Lee. So I think this is starting to look like what we recognize. That still prevails to today.
Yes.
And then there were some of those more hard-hitting themes of like the civil rights movements. There was and the Fantastic Four were basically adventurers / scientists.
Yeah.
And then I think there was also some stuff around the Cold War tensions that were covered in those comic books or that.
Yeah, real world politics were in the books.
Real world,
in the books,
exactly.
The comics began to. It had been doing that before. I mean, Captain America was fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
But it's now trying to add more nuance to the storytelling. Or real world politics, like
real world.
Racism, and this was mainly Marvel. Racism became a big thing, but not just racism. Drug addiction became a thing. We started seeing heroes from poorer backgrounds.
I think the drug addiction might have been the 70s.
Yes, I'm doing 67 because this introduction is from when Marvel came on the scene and started doing more serious storytelling. And then this is sat down and look, you know what? This is something we should look at. And we start seeing
And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and Stan Lee actively pursued this, and he said, I want to aim at university students. He was going around university campuses promoting his comics, talking about, and you had comics like Doctor Strange, which basically, when you read it now, it's like somebody on drugs writing that comic. And
that was was this when we say 60s, 70s, was that okay? 70s was
70s, psychedelic.
Was psychedelic era. I to your point today, there was something you mentioned about trying to real world problems and even real world locations. Because before that, it was like Star City. It was like
Metropolis,
Gotham City, but now it's like New York.
Yeah.
So
Chicago.
Chicago. Where is he swinging to Queens? Oh, really? This is something that I live and breathe.
Yeah.
So it's a little more relatable. It's a little more.
It was quite relatable because I remember I've never been to America. I didn't know anything about America, and I remember reading an issue of Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
Oh,
which they were addicted like that. I was like, wow. And I was a kid, but I knew this was not a happy book.
Yeah.
I think the key word is what Ken said there.
Yeah.
The aims of being relatable. You could understand that. You couldn't relate to Superman. You couldn't relate to Batman. But you could relate to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You relate to Daredevil, who's a blind guy, a Catholic. They had these quirks that were down to earth. One was Catholic, one was blind, one was poor,
one was drunk.
Even Power Man and Iron Fist, even with their
come on,
they were street level.
Yeah. Street level. They were charging money.
Yes. Yeah.
We all understood that. If I have power, yes, you pay me. I will come and help you.
And then I think this era, this is moving from like 70s. It gradually became darker. We started seeing Punisher, Wolverine, and Batman started shedding his Adam West Batman. And becoming the Dark Knight we know.
True.
So this is when those ideas became very popular.
I think we came into a slightly more, should I say, violent? Because I think about people like Wolverine, the Punisher, it's getting a little more
not slightly.
Clearly a little more violent and more like
violent,
let's like put some kiddie stuff aside. There was something you said, Red, that triggered. Oh, now I can't remember. I think it was about relatability, and before that we had exactly where you see people like Cloak and Dagger who or black girl or black guy white girl,
and they were clearly kids.
Exactly. Fighting stuff like that, as opposed to it was quite difficult relating to. I mean, you might be a white guy reading a Superman comic, but you don't have a fortress in Antarctica, the giant that he needs to open it up. It was like okay.
And they did something because I'm trying to remember. I remember reading an issue of Cloak and Dagger, and Dazzler was in it with the disco thing. So you had this drug thing. You had disco that was taking over the world. I can't remember that. Go ahead.
No, the thing is, during that whole period, DC in a way was still doubling down with this whole icon. The story's actually been more ridiculous. And I used to remember the covers of DC comics back then. Superman turned into a monkey. Superman.
Wasn't that the era of Supergirl and the unicorn she married, or Superman and his wife Lois Lane that she's always torturing every issue?
That's the era. Kat, you don't ask a question.
No. I was going to say that was when Green Lantern came as well. But I wanted to ask, when did that Hal Jordan Green Lantern, by the way, when did Speedy use drugs?
So that I want to say it was late 70s. Not 79.
Okay. I don't know. I was just wondering, because that was
a whole 70s, 80s.
Yeah, that was a big thing. That was a big
70s. That was early 70s, 71.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Snow birds don't fly.
Okay.
Really?
So it was in Green Lantern, Green Arrow. Neil Adams. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. In the 70s. No, wow.
That was a big thing that I think America was. It wasn't quite the crack pandemic, but it was the whole era of movie love, free love, and heroin was starting to get, or what we call Indian hemp.
I would never have guessed it was that old.
Yeah, it was 70. So I think at that point in time, they started shedding their ass. Yeah.
It was quite relevant to the time to that time when it happened. But again, anti-heroes were starting to be introduced. Punisher, Wolverine, a person who is good but gruff, and you're like, okay, where's the line? Like you said, Batman was now starting to shed his Adam West. persona. You know, and becoming more of a dark knight.
When did we get Guy Gardner?
I think that was 70s as well. I think that was late 70s.
Yeah.
I think so.
Al Jordan was 70, so I want to say 80.
Al Jordan was the first.
No. How Jordan was 70s though? How Jordan was late 50s.
Al Jordan
is
not Scott. Not Scott, not Alan Scott.
Alan Scott was before. When they did the new Silver Age, that's when they brought all the new veterans in. Hal Jordan, Barry West. That's when they brought them all in. Yeah.
Okay. So 70s, and then moving on to 80s. I think this is the one that I recognize the most. That this is when I was like, okay, now I'm starting to really get into this stuff. Well, obviously, because
Gardner was 68.
68. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So 80s, sort of like the modern age, right?
And we're talking about 80s is still very dark.
Yeah.
I mean, 80s is still very. That's a grim dark period.
I think 80s is where they went the deepest, in my view, on the darkness. And I explain why I think so compared to the 90s.
You're going to talk about the Killing Joke. I can never forget that cover.
Let's just say Alan Moore, Frank Miller.
Yeah, thank you. Alan Moore, Frank Miller,
yeah.
And what's that guy's name?
Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's funny that so Keck said that's when that's his comics.
Yeah.
80s was the year I would have stopped reading comics. I always say that.
Oh, you stopped? Okay, I was still reading.
I would have. 80s was the time I was
you would have. Oh, based on age, yeah.
I've got to a certain age. It's time to leave.
Yeah.
Childish things behind. Then also these guys started producing
really good books.
Yeah.
What happened then was a very fun story. DC, the editor then said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go and get people that write literature to come and write this book for us.
Yeah.
Yes, that write prose, people that studied it. So that's when he went to get Alan Moore, from Britain. He went there to go and pluck these guys. Like, you know what? Come and write these books for us. Come, and they gave them carte blanche to do whatever they want. So,
yes. And those guys, by the way,
I
was in England, and I used to read a comic called 2000 AD.
Yep.
Yeah. Mega City Watch.
Yes. Thank you. That comic was dark as hell.
Yes, it was.
A lot of those writers came from 2008.
Yeah.
On the side note, are there still 2000 AD George Mega City War comic books?
Shockingly, yes. I think I've come across them a few years ago. Oh, these still exist? Yes, they do.
I would like to. You know what? There was. I don't know if you guys know this place. Red, you might know it. Small World. It was Ayaba.
Oh, it's a small world. It's a small world. After all,
it's a small world. Yeah, it's like toy shop / yeah. But they used to sell comic books. So they used to sell 2000 AD comic books there. And I remember that I used to go there with my mom, and my mom would like get it. So they would sell comic books, and they also sell like Game Boys and Game Boy cartridges. I know it. Oh, that was heaven for me then. So yeah. So anytime somebody says 2000 AD, I'm like, my mind goes there first. But yeah, so that's the 80s. We have a lot of prose adapt. Vertigo Comics was
DC.
DC.
Yeah.
Was it 80s? I don't know.
I think it was 80s, 90s.
I think it was 80s. I think Vertigo started
before Image.
Yeah.
So
it was definitely 80s actually. Sorry. Because that's Swamp Thing as well. That's what
Vertigo.
Yeah.
Oh, 1983.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
What do you think was happening in the 80s to reflect this particular shift in comics? If we track the previous ages, it was like a response to what was happening in society back then. But what do you think? 80s?
I just think, and this is why I've always viewed it that the writers and the audience started growing together, and you got people saying, "Listen, you know what? We can do more." And they'll do one comic that was slightly darker. People responded to it. Wolverine became popular, and before you know it, you had your Moores going all out. Alan Moore, weirdly enough, wanted to kill off comics with his comic. But, you know, he and then and by this stage as well, I think DC did something where DC.
I don't want to challenge what you're saying.
Yeah,
But I think he wanted to deconstruct.
No, he
He wanted to kill off comics.
He wanted to kill off
That
comics.
was his goal. He
Yes,
said it.
he said it.
He said
Why?
it.
Yeah, no,
He wanted to
I'm-
deconstruct
Why?
comics.
yeah, so why would he want to do that if he loved the genre?
He
He
didn't.
doesn't. Yeah.
He didn't.
No, so his take on the genre is that this genre is stupid.
Yes.
And I'm going to explain why it's
And you,
stupid for
and you people should grow up and move on with your lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
I'm going to bring these superheroes to the real world and show you that these heroes are not supposed to look up to them.
Yes.
And that's what give us this thing.
I understand. So what I'm saying is that, but that feels not to me like he's almost saying, look, I'm going to leave childish things. This is how it would be.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily saying I don't like comic books. So
No,
I
it's
don't.
saying this how
This is what he said
No,
himself. It's not that
no,
we're
he's
interpreting his
That's why I'm
intention.
like, wow.
No, he's
Yeah.
saying this is no, he's saying this is how it should be. You guys are going to see these guys for who they truly are. You're going to hate them.
And you're
And
going to
then
talk
you won't be able to read comics again
And you'll be able to
because
read
this is
comics
how
again.
they are.
Yes.
But he
Is it-
underestimated the mob.
Yeah. He said, once I exposed it to you, you go actually, you know what? Comics are stupid from now on.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you move on.
Like he's basically taking the idea of superheroes and saying that superheroism is stupid in the way it's being written then and doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
So
that
this
part
book-
I understand today.
Yeah.
But to now say that I want to kill the medium.
Well, not the medium.
Not the medium, like these
Super-
superheroes. these superheroes.
I get that superhero piece.
He wanted his books like From Hell.
Yeah, exactly. So I
That's
can
what he
get
wanted.
that. Okay.
He
Okay.
did-
He was like, I don't want capes. No capes.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill off capes. But now let's start moving into something
Yeah,
else. Okay,
yeah.
that I can live with.
Yeah.
That I can.
Then the books come out. People are like, look at here. You see,
Look at Rorschach. Rorschach
come on,
is the
look at
hero.
come on, look at this.
People took that book and they said Rorschach was like people support Rorschach in that book. They're like, oh, this madman has a point. This madman is right for. And I'm like, okay.
And when he wrote that book, this always makes me laugh. He told DC, once this is out of print, all the rights to this book will revert back to me. This is no problem.
It
This
has
is make
never
sure-
gone out
The
of
book has
print.
the book has never gone out of
Never
print.
Never once.
This is about they release a new story, they release a new format.
Never gone out of print.
That explains why I'm like, why are you releasing
It's not gone out of
Watchmen
print.
animated movie?
Animated version
They'll never let that
to
happen.
sell more,
Yeah.
to sell more Watchmen books.
Watchmen on Broadway.
Until more dies before they start printing that.
I love that, though. I love that.
It's the kind of pettiness I can get behind because they're not releasing trash. They're actually releasing good books.
I rate it. I rate it.
Also, that era, I want to mention. So this is when I think for the main line. So we'll talk about the dark, the gritty.
Yeah.
But I think even the main line. This is when DC decided, you know what, we need to stop what we're doing. Forget the 70s bullshit. We need to move our normal lines into more closer to what Marvel was doing. And this is when they brought in.
Was that when
Crisis.
they did? Was that when they did Smallville? That was the first.
The
comic book
Smallville is
Smallville.
2010. We'll touch
No,
on
no,
that
no,
in
no,
it.
no. Comic.
the
There was a Smallville comic.
Yeah.
Oh, is John Bryan?
Superman. Yeah, I think so. I can't remember.
No, so Crisis. So I was going to talk about Crisis. Crisis led into what you're talking about, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
No. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, because it was Crisis that led to Bryan, and Bryan took them back to the beginning.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I think Smallville was. I think it was even Superboy Red.
No,
I think it might be Superboy. Yeah, okay.
no, Superboy was before Crisis now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it the one with the jacket and everything?
Yes.
No, not Connor.
Original Superboy, like Superman, full Superman.
Superman,
Okay.
like Superman, but a young Superman.
When he was going
Yeah.
with the what's it
No.
called Legion? When he was going with the Legion, Abby?
Who?
No.
No,
No, you're right. He wasn't Legion. You go and join Legion and come back to some comic. Yeah. So Superboy, Supergirl, Legion of Superheroes. You're right. That's the.
Okay.
He used to try to travel to the future, and then that Legion of Superheroes came from Superboy comic.
Okay.
Yeah.
It came from Superboy comic. Yeah. So you're right. But these were all pre-crisis.
Yeah.
This was pre-crisis. It was
Yeah,
Superboy And his love interest was Lana Lang instead of
Lana
Liz
Lang,
Lane.
Oh, that very funny. That was one of my most favorite comics. I loved that Superboy era.
I actually like that comic.
There was Crypto, the Superboy, the Supergirl. I loved it. And then you had Legion of Superheroes, which is my favorite DC team. So that was brilliant back then. But then Crisis came, and then they said, you know what, we need to. What was the spill? The spill was they wanted to tidy up their history.
Hard reset, basically. Yeah.
They wanted to hire all top talents for the new books going forward, and they wanted to break the domination of Marvel in terms of the going thing. And
this was well planned.
Yeah,
they took their time. I think they took almost 2 years planning it, which is completely unheard of nowadays. Like they had the writers putting the pieces together, putting all the stories. They had somebody to study every single character.
Yeah, I think there's like there's like a crisis Bible. Yeah.
Come up with a Bible for that. Okay, we are doing a story with all our characters. Where do they fit? How does this story spin out? Where are we going from here? They had plans, and nowadays we don't do that.
I stopped reading DC for ages. I went back for Crisis, and Crisis was a big deal. It was just so well done. I can't even lie. It was just so well done.
Okay, so that shifts us to what, the 90s?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, and it just felt like in the 90s.
So I thought they wanted to say something, or
no.
Okay.
Wait, sorry. Yeah. When was the death of Superman? Was it 80s or 90s?
No,
96
or something.
Yeah, that's mid-90s.
And that's when they lost me.
It just felt like there was a lot of money in the 90s, particularly towards like the late 90s when there was like a lot of gloss comic books.
Yeah,
like even the prints, even the color printing, particularly with Image. I think that was when Image came out.
Yeah,
it felt like there was a lot of money.
I think
there was a glut. This was a glut.
Yeah,
there was a glut.
The speculator market.
They were hoping to go for what do you call them? Covers that will become collectible items.
Collectibles. You had X-Men reboots selling like millions of copy. It was the height of and what came after was bad. But at that
100%.
time,
100%.
And I think one of
it was the bubble. Comics were selling, and everybody was doing everything possible to sell. You'd have multiple variants, multiple variants, multiple covers, leaf gold covers, and stuff like that.
Marvel was the biggest culprit in my view.
Marvel then Image.
And DC was not far behind, so it's not. DC was terrible as
well. But compared to Marvel, DC was tame.
Marvel was
I think DC was quite tame compared to the others because I still remember that Marvel. I was almost on a Pokemon level of gathering them. Like I'll be like, man, look at this one, man. This is so cool. Like I remember I would save money to go and buy like metal foil covers. I was buying trading cards.
Oh god!
Like foil trading cards that like these ones, these ones that when you tilt it to the light, it will change.
Yeah.
You told me like say I just get money that time. Like I was just acting crazy. I swear I wanted to own it.
And then you tell yourself, in 10 years' time it will be worth £2,000.
I was fully myself. But at the same time, I just liked
the
and I think that was. I think we were also getting a lot of action figures, a lot of like collectible stuff. Then we were just a lot of money was in the market, and then we had some creator-owned stuff. That's when Image and Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane, like the bad boys.
The bad boys,
the bad boys of comic books.
Well, so honorable mention. We got the first new superhero in a long time, Spawn. Because before Spawn, there hadn't been a new superhero for a while.
Like the guy, they put so much money into Spawn, but I'm shocked at how popular he was. But even back then, I never quite. I thought it was a cool concept.
I like
this guy goes to hell, comes back. I remember that if you ever read the Spawn comic books as well, Todd McFarlane's art is a bit harsh. I don't know how to explain it. Like he will draw Violator. His panels are not like you got characters bursting out of panels. It was quite bloody. Spawn was the definition of edgelord because he had spikes everywhere, chains.
Everybody had spikes.
It was cool.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
I remember the chains would be drawn across 2 pages. Slowly through. Yeah, I thought my friend, he knew how to do this kind of stuff. You open a page.
Yeah.
And oh God, what's this? His cape will be over everywhere.
Yeah. His cape was living. It was almost a character.
This was the era of the artist as well. Let me find. The artist wrote in the 90s.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld with his big chests. That was when he did big chests,
no feet.
Big breast Captain America.
That Captain America, Lord have mercy.
I see. It looked like a joke. Like it was, and I think it was part of that whole Heroes Reborn.
It looked like Roger. It looked like Roger Ramjet. You guys, you know Roger Ramjet, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The cartoon. Yeah.
90s. We also had Rob Liefeld's very popular Captain America art.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Thick wrists, pouches everywhere. It was the era, like that was said. It was the era of the artist because I remember I was almost collecting Joe Madureira art. I'm going to find it. Spider-Man and Maru. I was like, yeah. He did a zero tolerance. I was like, I'm going to collect every zero tolerance that this guy draws because I was obsessed with the man's art then. But honorable mentions, there were some creators like Chris Claremont that were writing definitive, never to be defeated versions of certain characters like the X-Men and such. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is not going to change anytime soon. But yeah, like the 90s.
He was stolen from DC.
I did not know that. I didn't even know he ever worked at DC.
He was at DC before X-Men. And he was trying to get some stuff done at DC and all this, and there was somebody who knew him, and basically he was poached.
That's nice.
And I think DC found out just before he was about to leave, and they sacked him. Like you can't be talking to
to the opposition.
They could bring him in.
Yeah.
Chris Claremont he made X-Men big. He did.
Yeah, he did. I mean, that was the period where every cool character had a jacket. Every cool character, particularly those small like Superboy jackets. Those jackets.
90s was. But I read something about 90s is when they lost him.
Yeah, that was in the
90s. They almost lost me in the 90s. I won't lie. After it got to a point.
DC, Marvel,
really? Everybody.
It became almost a joke, a part of itself.
Yeah.
Everybody was a cable type. Everywhere you go, there were teams, Cyberpunk, and they were all edgelords teams.
Honestly, I swear.
But the funny thing about the 90s, I'm going to, okay, wait.
So for me,
the about the 90s,
they now top that with the death of Superman, and I was just like, I'm done.
Is that the comics were so bad, but DC was doing amazing animated shows in the 90s.
Absolutely.
Right. Oh, today.
That was when DC started hitting their stride with their animated shows. As bad as the comic was, we had Superman the animated series, Batman. I think it was late 90s, early 2000s. We had the Batman Beyond show.
Batman Beyond, that was really good.
Yeah. X-Men 97. The original X-Men.
When was Justice League Unlimited? Or is it?
It was
that's
early 2000s.
No, I think it started 99 or 2001. Someone of
because it was after Superman, and it was after Superman. Then we had the Justice League show.
Yeah, but it's still like it came organically after Superman and after the Batman.
Yeah,
but it was that was a really. I mean,
Marvel had Iron Man though. Marvel had Iron Man.
Iron Man didn't hit
X-Men.
No, what? Iron Man what?
Iron Man and Fantastic Four.
Iron Man cartoon. Because I remember
Yeah.
with Tony Stark, Tony Stark with the
Yeah.
long hair and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
There were two Iron Man cartoons in the 90s. There was the one you're talking about, Red, with the long hair.
With
where
long blue hair.
Red
And
was hitting a hammer.
yes,
And there was
that
another
one.
one where he used to carry it in a suitcase.
In the suitcase one, that's the one I grew up on. Yeah.
That one, it was Marvel Action Hour with that's Iron Man and the
And
Fantastic Four.
Tip 4, yeah.
Reed Richards is elastic. Yeah, it was
I
super
I can't even remember it.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what? You bring back trauma. I'm talking about those shows. Jesus Lord.
But we had the Fox Spider-Man, which was good.
Yeah, and exactly.
Yeah.
So
Very
while
good.
the comics were very bad in that period,
Yeah.
like terrible, the TV shows were capturing a new generation of.
I honestly,
Yeah.
I think I get where Red you had that back coming from, but I think that was peak comic book period before 2010. I think that was like
so around that time also something else happened in the 90s. Cable became mainstream, and there were a whole bunch of cartoons. I started watching Thundercats, Silverhawk or Silverwing.
So I think 90s brought in a whole new crowd via the animation,
TV shows,
rather than the comic itself.
Yeah, because for most people of my generation, it's the animated show that is what's this thing called foundational version of these superheroes.
Yeah.
Like when they talk of Superman, Batman, it's the animated version they refer to that this is our character. And to be fair, those characters were, I think, we are biased, so we're faithful, exactly. The faithful representations of the stories.
Representations, I should say. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, they
Superman,
were.
Batman, Static
Shock.
Shock.
Oh, those ones were fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to talk about X-Men '97. I don't want to hear that one. Don't want to hear
Why was it not?
Let's just carry on. And even if
why?
The Marvel ones were not.
Why not? Why not? Why do you disagree?
Because they were. Oh God.
No. I'm like no. Serious question.
Okay, let me do the easy ones. The Fantastic Four ones were a Chinese versions of Fantastic Four. Right then, yes. All the Herbie business. It was a Chinese version. Even Iron Man 1, God, I'm trying to make it basic. No. My biggest beef was X-Men.
Yeah, so why?
Well, because I was always the original comics, and I just felt they were truncated versions of more deeper stories than that was in the comics. And I even hated the voice acting because obviously in my head I already had my own voices of what these people sound like. I've got over this. So I don't want to repeat what I've said.
No, I see where you're coming from.
So for me, but I cannot deny the impact it had on people outside of the comic world.
Yeah.
Who saw this, loved it.
No, that more and people in the comic world. And people in the comic. I
can tell you now.
Most people in a different generation now.
Who were big into comics before it ever came out were not that big a fan. They watched it because it's X-Men. But would they rave about it? No.
Okay, I don't agree. Because the thing is, also remember that it is like it's like watching a soap opera. Because that is essentially what the X-Men have, or even the comic books. Like you said, they're in the series, they were truncated versions. So there's a whole lot of backstory.
Yeah.
Like you cannot, they would tell you, you're not clear on the real history of Wolverine, like the first few seasons of this guy. So I get it.
So which is where we're coming from.
Yeah.
And you can see how I would be going. When I'm watching it, but people who are fresh to it, obviously, don't have that baggage that I had.
We would have this argument again when we go a decade in 2010 when DC started their new 52.
Okay. But but I'm just thinking about it. I remember that I really enjoyed the 90s because there were some comic book, there were some storylines that I was like, X is for execution. Things like Operation Zero Tolerance.
Ah,
I know you guys don't like Death of Superman. I love Death of Superman.
yeah.
Do you guys remember this character called? Well, you would know a DC character called the Ray.
Of course, I love him.
The
Something Taro. His surname was something Taro. I know Ray.
that controls light. Yeah. That was when it was introduced.
Yes.
I loved that. I had a friend who had the graphic novel. Oh, I loved that character.
Yeah, that was good. You see,
so much.
What was about the 90s?
They don't use him. They don't use him anymore.
I've dumped on the 90s a lot, but Ketchup just reminded me of certain things they did. DC brought up a lot of new characters out in that era.
Yeah.
Some of them.
There was a guy called Damage. Sorry.
I remember Aztec. Aztec. I love the whole concept as well. It's the same era as Ray. Same era. You had Aztec, Ray. Great characters.
Yeah.
I can't tell you where they are now.
Yeah.
And now, when I leave this podcast, I'm going to try and
I'm going to try to find them.
DC produced quite a lot of stuff there, but a lot of times they always go back to what they used to, and then a lot of these characters fall by the wayside.
I mean, they're still doing it now to an extent, because when was the last time we saw Naomi? I haven't seen Naomi maybe 2 years.
That's true, you know.
The TV show. After the TV show, do you still want them to do Naomi?
No, I mean, why not? Why not?
I'm fine. They can go on.
No. Because that's the thing. Like, if you introduce, okay, look at it this way. Today, it's like Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
Marvel, make sure you don't forget Kamala Khan.
Yes, Kamala Khan. True. Fair enough. Fair enough. I see your
and this
point.
is like, even for me, forget representation level, but you introduced her, it clicked with people. Just keep it. You know, they could have
just keep her in rotation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she should be in the what's this thing called? She should be in the Teen Titans book or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get your point.
What's Garth doing in the Teen Titans book? In the Titans book, chuck him out and put they'll be there.
Not just Naomi, this girl, but I think they're doing better with Jo Mullen. She still shows up here and there.
No, she's relevant. So Jonah.
Yeah.
Yes. So Jonah,
Jonah is relevant.
See, my problem is because also while I was watching the 90s, you guys are going to tell me I'm picking the wrong era. Yeah. Was that not Milestone as well?
Yes.
No, with Icon and
that
was 90s.
That was 90s as well.
Yeah.
So there were some good things in the 90s, but in 90s get a lot of flack for the bad things because the bad things were very bad. They represent the worst of comics.
Yeah. It was just an era of like plots, like that was said. There was just so much. Yeah. There was. Do you remember Gen 13?
Yeah, Wildstorm.
I was like a teenager. I was like Wildstorm, Wildcats.
But Wildstorm was good though.
Yeah, but there were a lot.
There was a lot. There was a lot. There was a lot to spending your money on.
I tell you what was good from the image side for me that stood the test of time up to now, still reading, was the Authority.
Okay.
Yeah. When image split and Wildstorm kind of split out of image. And then they
I see what you mean. I'm going to ask a question, guys, and I want you guys to think about this. Do you remember Impact Comics?
Of course.
Yes.
That was 80s or 90s? That was 80s, I think.
No, was it? No, early 90s. I was in the country. It was early 90s.
Impact Comics with the fly.
I remember the guys right. Yeah, that's what they did with flow wings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, God. That was a DC imprint, right?
I think it was like an offshoot, like Impact Comics,
and that fly was a better Spider-Man.
Yeah, and the Shield was a better Captain America ripoff.
Yeah, Shield, this guy got real. The Shield, Today cannot do this comics. Today cannot do this comics. Yeah, exactly.
1991. Sorry, 1991.
It was Mark Waid.
Was it
which one? No, it wasn't Mark Waid.
No, Comet. No, Legend of the Shield. The Captain America was Mark Waid. Comet was Mark Waid.
Is it?
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
Wade was busy in the 90s. So Wade was Flash. That's what Speed Force came to. That's what Speed Force came to.
Wade was 90s now. Kingdom Come and the rest of them. Like it was one of the biggest authors writers then.
Oh yes, it was no. White Widow was a fire in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He
like
was on
even
fire.
even his the way he writes now, his sensibilities are quite like 90s, but it's just that
90s. So
yeah, you can't just knock quality. Okay, let's move to the
Yeah.
2000s then. So 2000,
2000
it feels like
Ultimate.
when, yeah, I think that's all you need
I
to
think
say.
that's the best description of the 2000s in terms
That's what
of
you need to say because I still
that it?
remember.
Is that
Okay,
it for the 2000s?
so no. There were two things. There's another thing I want to
Okay.
say about 2000s. We started getting a lot of comic book movies.
Wait, 2000s is
lot.
what?
So
Wait,
Blade
no,
was like,
wait, hold on. 2000s is what? 2000s is from year 2000 till now, or you're going to take the
No,
single
2010.
2000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
So the X-Men movies was around that period.
Movies, yeah.
We had a
01,
few.
01, 03, 04, 06. Yeah, I think we're
The
Yeah,
Batman trilogy
at the time.
The
was
who?
that period. As
Yeah,
what?
Batman Begins.
Batman was then.
Batman, X-Men,
Yeah.
X-Men 1,
X-Men,
X-Men 2.
Spider-Man.
Last Stand was
Tobey Maguire,
2007.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Return.
Superman Returns. Yep.
Return.
Well,
2006. I can never forget.
Bye, we couldn't did it.
2006.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, you're right. It was the start of for us
Blockbuster, basically.
Blockbuster
2000
and doing well at the box office as well. They were doing well at the box office.
Yeah.
I mean, previous decades would have won. I think we had Batman in '89. We had Superman in the '70s.
yeah.
You know, it was like every 10 years we get one. You know,
you would have, like you said, that or you'd have those big ones, the Batmans, the Batmans, the Supermans, and then you have some like low key ones that the studio is not sure it will make money, so they don't really want to market it. It's almost like they're ashamed,
like Spawn.
Hey guys, are you going to like Spawn?
Phantom. I remember there was a fan.
I was like, okay, guys, are you going to like Blade?
Or are you gonna like the Shadow?
Are you gonna like the Shadow? No. Okay. No vex. You know, there was no confidence.
And to be Marvel, due to Marvel's misbehavior in the '90s, they had to sell a lot of these rights away for cheap.
True. For the longest time, I still remember this Wizard comic that I bought with my pocket money. That they were asking James Cameron about his Spider-Man, and he was talking about it. And he was like, "Oh, he wants to use Venom in the Spider-Man." And in my head, I was like, man, I know Schwarzenegger is going to be Venom. Oh my God, no, Spider. That movie never materialized.
Never happened.
So, Wizard would do these things sometimes. They would do like fan castings. Of comic book movies, or I remember there was a Star Trek one. The original series, there was a Star Trek one, even the X-Men one, they had like some fan castings and everything. So, the 2000s came by, then we get, X-Men Black Leather. Yeah. So we were getting close to where we needed to be. The money was being put in, but not the slightly the expertise.
I do want to say though, in that era, the film that delivers for me in all aspects was Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I had no takebacks on that.
I'm going to call on that movie that delivered for me in that era that doesn't get mentioned. Kick-Ass.
No, Kick-Ass Kick-Ass might have been. Was that 2008, 2009?
Yeah.
Kick-Ass was
that era.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass was very good.
I'll tell you something about Kick-Ass. I watched it before I read it.
So yes, same.
Didn't know what I was expecting. So
exactly.
I did have a comparative.
So
it matched or not.
Okay, so it's on the edge. 2010. That's 2010.
2010. Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie, but I was like, I didn't know. It was later on. I was like, okay, let me go and read this comic book by.
I read it before, but to be honest, even reading it before, I think it lift up. But I mean, it's 2010, so I don't want to mix it up. But I think Spider-Man 2 for the 2000 to 2009. Go on.
No, it's right up there.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Nothing compares.
When X-Men came out, I was excited and I loved it, especially X-Men 2. But after watching, after I got over the high, I always felt a bit cheated by the X-Men movies.
Wait.
Because, okay, if I'm being honest, X-Men 1, went to watch it, oh, it's X-Men. It's on the big screen. This is something I've been watching for decades. I'm hyped. I wasn't aware. Trailer is a bit boring and, okay, it's X-Men.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say too loudly. We're excited. People have paid money. They've put money into this.
Like we are seeing these people live. There was that joy.
Yeah. Other people are watching it. There was some little joke that we knew the meaning of when they said, "Oh, good, I'll take it."
Yeah, but the movie itself.
Yeah, the movie itself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like that.
X-Men 2, the Nightcrawler scene.
Yeah,
opening.
Yeah,
beautiful.
The opening was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I know me most in the X-Men 2?
Tell me.
The school fight. When they came to attacking the school,
and Wolverine was, and there was no blood.
Forget about no blood. I didn't mind the no blood. When it was doing the action, I thought, I was so hyped. I thought, right, this is the school. We've got all these mutants with all these powers. I thought everything's going to scatter. Especially after that opening with Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
With one individual. You now have a school of individuals. And this, on my farm more than I think everyone's going to die. I was so hyped. And I was so disappointed how it ended. Oh God, this is, but to me, that was later on, I can't realize that was a Bryan Singer thing.
Yeah.
Where it starts big and it gradually goes to smaller. For some weird reason.
There's a better way we could explain that, but we'll leave that. We'll leave that video.
I'm not going to use that phrase. But yeah, so the X-Men are kind of, I enjoyed it and I liked it, but it never felt.
It never felt.
Yeah,
like
even Spider-Man 1, I had an issue.
Same.
Mainly with the helmets, mainly. But Spider-Man 2, I had zero issue at all.
It was good.
Yeah. I had a number of issues with Spider-Man 1.
Okay,
but there were not issues again that I could vocalize. Like I loathed the Green Goblin costume. I didn't like the helmet. I wasn't sure.
That's one, right?
No, the first one. The first one.
Goblin. Yeah, the Goblin helmet. I wasn't even sure about the Spider-Man suits with the race things. They were. I definitely did not like Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. I wasn't even sure Tobey Maguire because the late 90s. When I heard that Freddie Prinze Jr. was being looked at, so Tobey Maguire, I was like, this guy looks a bit old. Yeah, this guy looks a bit old, But I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, cool. We move. But when that next one came out, I was like, what this is too much for me.
Yeah, it was to me, it was the Avengers, it was the Endgame of the era. Yeah, it was the Endgame. I mean, even up to now, I think people still rate it quite highly up there.
I still rate it quite high.
Deservedly. So yeah, we had a couple of we had some really good movies, and that was when they were like again Hollywood was starting to put money.
And we had some spectacular letdowns.
Oh, for sure.
In the
era? Superman Returns.
Sure.
It was Singer.
Yeah. That was the first. Go ahead.
No, I also mentioned Invisible as another comic that came out in that era.
Ooh.
I don't remember when I started reading Invincible.
So, okay.
I didn't read it in that era, but
I was going to ask you a question, and you just kind of answered.
I think honestly, guys, I think all I can remember reading in that era is Ultimate comic books. That's all I can remember reading.
So, that's my question. We're talking about movies. What was happening in the comics? So you said Ultimate.
All I can remember is Ultimates. That's all.
You said Invisible. Where was Walking Dead?
That era as well, I guess. Yeah. I think so. But other comics that were happening in that era, we had Astonishing X-Men by what's his name? Whedon.
Whedon.
Yes.
Was that okay? That was good.
That was the era as well. On DC side, we had their repeated attempts to do crisis
Oh, God.
that fell flat on their faces.
Sorry, Tunde, can I
Identity
just
crisis, yeah.
interject? Identity crisis.
No
Can I
way.
just interject very quickly? So,
Well,
that
what did Tunde say? What are you debating?
Identity crisis can't be 2000 to 2000. There's no way. Is it?
I believe so.
Go on, Kex. Honestly.
Okay, so that era was also, this is very important, the era of digital comic books.
No, that was 2010.
No, because I was reading Ultimates
Oh, it is 2004.
online on the computer then.
Digital comics didn't become a thing until New 52, where it was being released. Before then, what was happening was that people would scan the comics themselves. Like, I'll buy a physical comic,
Oh, yeah.
I'll take a picture of it one by one, and I'll upload it to maybe like Shared or things like that. And it was never properly collated.
Yeah.
It was until DC started releasing, okay, we are releasing digital comics as well as physical comics.
Sorry.
So there's official digital comics by the publishers versus online comics by
comics
Let me
by
say
random people.
What I meant is that was
when did they try the AR things? There was an AR comic.
That would have been later.
That would be 2010s.
Yeah, that would have been later.
Yeah.
Because I remember that. So I'm talking about the scanned ones.
Yeah.
I remember that it was in the 2000s that I started reading comic books without buying them or touching them.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That's your.
That's what?
He said that's me. He doesn't want FBI Wala again.
Yeah.
Sorry, Agent Weston and Agent Kubert. Listening to.
I have no idea what
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know that they've tapped this guy. They've tapped this guy's residence.
I don't know what this guy is talking about.
You know, come out himself for setting. So that was when I first started reading loads of comic books without touching them physically, and it just made things so much easier because it was in sequence. I didn't have to go looking.
Easy to access. You
could download. Ah, man, it was.
When was Irredeemable?
What's that era as well?
I read Irredeemable late, so I'm the worst person. I read Irredeemable.
So Irredeemable and what was the Green Lanterns? What was that longest?
Blackest Nights.
Blackest Night. What was that?
That was also that era.
Yeah, that was
Blackest Nights. Their events were weird. That's why Green Lantern exploded.
Grant Morrison entered the mix.
What?
When did Grant Morrison enter the mix?
I'm pretty sure it's the same period.
Grant Morrison was
which Grant Morrison are you talking about?
Just the Grant Morrison must have been that year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because Grant Morrison was one that redefined like what was this thing called Green Lantern and stuff. Oh, that's
Yeah, so I'm saying that it was in the 2000s, wasn't it? Like
he came back with New 52, I think, or shortly.
He came back fully with New 52 to do multiversity, but he was doing Batman and Robin. He did Batman and Robin that period.
Not before then.
Okay.
Before then. Sorry.
That you're right. Today, Identity Crisis was 2004. I don't know why I thought it was way earlier than that.
Okay.
That was it. That was a comment that upset a lot of people. Turned Ralph did his wife into a murderer.
And that was the period of this very famous quote that nobody can forget, where Batman tells Superman the last time he inspired anybody was when you were dead. That's been the coldest insult in comic book history. Yeah,
that's too much.
But
now.
DC was moving weird that period. They had the old OMAC thing where Wonder Woman killed what's his person. Wanted to kill Maxwell Lord, where Zatanna was erasing people's memories. Anyhow, they also had this new 52 countdown, where after an event they were doing a countdown to 52 days. The Superman and the big heroes were depowered, and they were releasing a comic every week explaining how they got to that. We were trying so many different.
Sorry. What year was Invasion?
Was
what?
Invasion.
Which invasion?
This invasion. That's what it's called. You don't remember it?
That's post 52, right?
Yeah.
When the Daxamites invaded Earth.
I don't know
wait,
that.
I don't
event.
remember that.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know that. event.
That might be.
That's something that I've always wondered why they didn't explore Monel. Like give
Monel.
him
That
something.
is one person
Oh,
that.
Sorry.
Gets
Ignore me. It's way older than that. So
Okay.
it's 1988.
I'm telling you guys that I've not heard about the Daxamites in the 2000s.
Wow.
As in, so I'm like, yeah, there are legionnaires that like,
Yeah.
you know,
But the biggest comic book event of the 2000s, in my opinion, was Civil War.
Which one of them?
The first
one.
one.
First one. Yeah, that's
because I think it went mainstream. If
I
you're
read-
talking
I remember-
about events,
I read it-
Death
I
of
read it-
Superman went mainstream in the 90s, then
Yeah.
Civil War defined the 2000s.
Yeah.
It was big.
Question.
Yeah.
When did Hickman start? Because remember,
Hickman has been doing FF this period.
Human's Touch Death was also in the news. You know, you keep up Human Touch.
But it wasn't mainstream news.
No,
like
that was post.
No.
That was post. No, it was already on Fantastic Four before Thor's death.
So
He already did Fantastic Four.
That was a newspaper sale. That Human Touch Death. It was in newspapers.
Human Touch's death came after Civil War.
After Civil War.
Yeah, because I remember that Sue and Johnny left Reed.
That's true. You're right. Yeah.
It was after they left that Johnny now died later in the nightclub or something like that.
That's the run with To Me My Galactus, right?
Yeah, it was Hickman.
That's Hickman. Yeah,
it was FF Hickman one. Yeah. With Frank Lucia growing up and doing.
So who did Human Touch that? I can't remember anymore. I remember that story, but who wrote it?
It's Hickman.
It's Hickman, right? Yeah.
It was
Hickman's run. It's the same, same run. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I thought you were confused.
It wasn't, guys. It wasn't.
What wasn't?
It wasn't. I don't think it was Hickman that did the death of Johnny.
I can bet any money. Hickman killed us.
I don't think it was that Hickman. I don't think it was that Hickman run. Death of.
It's not that fantastic. Is it that Fantastic Four run?
Yeah, I don't think so.
It was.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. For Ben to escape with. Oh, sorry. So sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Johnny Storm sacrifices himself in Jonathan Hickman run for Ben to escape with Valeria Richards and the others so that Annihilus doesn't. But there was a time that Johnny died in a nightclub now.
So you're talking about another death. Okay, maybe I can't remember that one. What before
we have so many deaths, and but what would you think of the defining theme for the 2000s?
Honestly,
in terms of
for
comics.
me, in terms of comics, I can't think of anything for Ultimates because I was.
When was Civil War?
Okay, 2000.
When was
2000?
Civil Wars. The Hickman Civil
Wars?
Yes.
No, that's 2010.
That's 2010.
We've not gotten there yet. Yeah.
Okay.
That's like
Because 2000 comic book movies were coming out, people were loving them.
So we have
comics.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
It started off the
Miles Morales.
Oh, the introduction of Miles Morales. That entire arc,
that's also double digits 20s. So it's not single digits. I think so.
No, it was single digit too. Because this Spider-Man ran for 150 or so issues. The Ultimate Spider-Man comics.
He appeared
about 150 issues.
He first appeared in 2011.
2011, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Miles Morales.
It was much later.
It was double digits. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
So you're saying Ultimate Spider-Man ran for
started in the before the 10.
He started in 2000 and he ran for 10 years.
No, who told you that Ultimate Spider-Man started in 2000? It started at the beginning of the year now.
It started in 2000. It was the first one, I think.
Did they take a break?
Okay, yeah, you are right actually. Because if it's 150 issues,
11 years. It ran for 11 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
It ran for 11 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That's an achievement. That is an achievement.
No, the book is good. The Ultimate Spider-Man run, it's something to read. Yeah. But yeah, you're right then. So that's that era.
Mhm.
New movies were coming out. Comic books were
Let's just say something.
there.
Just sorry. Good movies. Good movies. Terrible series, TV series, comic book TV series. Then
We had
everything
Smallville.
apart from Smallville. Sorry, apart from Smallville, everything else was bad. Everything else was.
What else was coming out then?
Smallville good?
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey is what I was thinking about.
Birds of Prey was one season and it didn't pass the pilot.
Was not much
Then-
later.
It passed the pilot now.
Then how about the Wonder Woman pilot?
There was a series.
It was one season. One season
Yeah,
now we forget
yeah.
about it.
What about the one with Adrian Pileski, or what's that lady's name that was Wonder Woman?
So it was a pilot episode I didn't go
Wonder
to.
Woman that was wearing trousers. That was wearing.
Yeah, pilots.
Okay, so there was also a pilot for Aquaman. Remember?
Yes.
Yes, but it didn't go.
With
It
the,
wasn't
with the
mid.
Jack Reacher.
It didn't go anywhere.
It wasn't
Guys,
mid. Yeah.
we're back to-
When was
There was-
Agent of Shield?
Who?
Agent of
Angel.
Shield. Agent of Shield.
No, this is MCU era now. 2010.
Agent of Shield.
Totally
Agent
right.
of Shield.
That one.
Agent
Totally
of Shield was
right.
after. Agent of Shield was after First Avengers. No.
Totally right.
Yeah,
Oh,
MCU era.
That's
2010.
However,
That's how we
However-
got. That's how we got.
however, the MCU started in 2008.
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
2008.
So
Iron Man. 2008.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
So for the purpose of this particular
Let's move it to
definition in era, we'll move to
Let's move
2010.
Let's
Let's
move
do
it.
MCU to 2010.
No, it's true. It's true. It dominated.
It's a separate era from.
Yeah.
To be fair, Iron Man the movie, Incredible Hulk the movie. They match the movies of that era. It was Avengers that changed things up. If you remember, Iron Man. If you put Iron Man and Batman together, Iron Man and
You've not been hating since. So.
I would disagree for one thing only.
Yeah.
It's apart from the, I will not even debate the quality with you because I disagree with you on the quality, but that's not my point. I'm going to make here. It's what happened at the end of the Iron Man.
In the end, okay, that's fair.
That is the key bit.
That's the key point. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I was talking more of tone, not quality. Like it wasn't. They weren't super fantastical movies that MCU has now become. It was grounded.
I feel
they followed that grounded philosophy of movies, of superhero movies.
We had a sick character that was done as well as a character to that point. Prior to Iron Man, characters of Iron Man's level will get things like Daredevil.
When you finish, I'll say something to say.
Okay, go on.
To slightly disagree with Tunde.
Okay.
I believe that one key strength that Iron Man had, apart from Robert Downey Jr., but we'll talk about it in 2000, is that the director knew the material. So before that, maybe apart from Sam Raimi, we've been getting people that were like, okay, this guy's a good director, have him direct this.
Yeah.
Not he knows the character, not that he knows the material, but this guy is good. So we finally got someone who was good and he had an EP or a producer that likes the material as well.
And then the casting.
And the casting. So it's not like Feige will be telling Singer. Feige will tell Singer something and Singer will say no.
I would even challenge today that if you put Iron Man in that 2000 to 2010 period, only one film can beat it now.
Avengers.
Dark Knight. No, see, I'm not talking about. Yes, it points until you mentioned
2010.
No,
2000
to 2008. Only one film could beat it now. In my mind,
Dark Knight. Not even.
When was that? When was that night? So when was that night?
It's 2000 and this thing.
Second one.
Yeah.
What year was it?
2008 or so. Because I remember I was
watching. In that period.
Yeah.
Iron Man is like in the top 3.
No, so I'm not arguing about quality when I was talking about Iron Man and Incredible Hulk. I was saying that from 2000 to 2010, those movies were made to be as grounded as possible. Like the fantastical elements were tried to be. It wasn't a comic book movie the way we have an incredible comic book movie now. It was like we are trying to be as realistic as possible in our storytelling, make it match. The X-Men were wearing leather jackets. rather than their bright
Yep.
yellow costumes.
Mhm.
Batman was the glitzy Batman. Even Spider-Man itself was the I'm not shooting for my wrist, I'm shooting for my hand because that felt more believable. So when I'm talking about like it's still in the grounded comic book era, not quality. It was after Avengers, we now had bright colored. The colors of comic book movies now changed. It was now brightly
Mm.
colored. Before they were muted colors in the movies to make it seem,
I
oh,
well, I
this is the
think
take this movie seriously.
weirdly, I think I can agree with you. Not with Iron Man, weirdly not, but I can feel I can agree with the Hulk, with the Captain America one, and with the Thor one, because they
Because
Yeah,
didn't
but
go
we're
to
now
because
moving
Hulk.
into 2010.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, sorry, okay,
because
yeah, sorry.
yeah, we're
Yeah,
moving
but
into 2010 now with
what I'm
movies.
still saying is
Why? Yeah,
the pre-Avengers one, I kind of see to this point, but weirdly enough, I think of all of those ones before it was an MCU before Avengers, the one that was the brightest actually was Iron Man, in my view.
Yeah.
it was Thor actually.
No, Thor spent too much time
Thor
as
was the
human.
brightest by far.
He spent
Iron Man one was like a it started off as a war movie
yeah, but it's Iron
with
Man was too bright.
soldiers. Yeah,
Thor spent 90% of that film as a human being. You had a fantastical open and
yeah,
a 2 minute at the end. In between, the guy was running around in t-shirt and jeans.
It was a very fish out of water
Yeah,
movie. Yeah,
movie. Yeah,
but
it
yeah,
reminds me a lot of He-Man, Masters of the Universe, where they spend a very short amount of time in Eternia or
Yeah.
Asgard, and then he comes to Earth and he's like, okay, that budget is too much for us. What we're doing.
okay.
They just keep
So
him in the desert. Yeah.
2010, comic book related. This is when we had two big things in comic. New 52 started, and the push for digital comics started.
Yeah.
So finally, comic books were now being released same day, digital
Yeah.
and physical comics. It
Yeah.
was now being collected online. You could buy these books online. And even we had things like Comixology coming up. So people could even read back catalogs.
Comixology
Yeah,
today. Yes.
online. There are a lot of readers online.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
with the push for New 52, because as much as we malign New 52, New 52 brought opened
I didn't hate New
in
52.
no, yeah, like I'm talking back in the start, New 52
Mhm.
opened up a new generation of people to comics. Like at
Mhm.
that point, it was like, oh, comic books are too convoluted, too old.
Mhm.
Jump in here and start again.
Yeah,
I think the
exactly.
sales of comics almost doubled with the release of those initial New 52 books.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, we are trying new, and not just for DC and Marvel. Because shortly after DC did their New 52, Marvel did their own new Marvel, where they just basically renumbered and continued their stories. They
Yeah,
didn't care.
yeah.
Yeah. So that period, it's like it brought a new generation of people into comics. That was their first introduction to comic books. Yeah,
I'm going to ask this silly question. When was, slightly off topic, when was the death of Spider-Man that Dan Slott did? Was it, what a
it
decade
was
was it?
before. It was before. It was that
It was 2000
original sin.
2009.
Yeah,
Okay, continue. Sorry.
yeah.
So
So yeah,
2010, I'm trying to remember. So you said there were two things. You said New 52 and you said digital comic books, right? And you said like
yes.
technology and digital comic books. That is true. So
And-
sorry?
I was going to say, and Hickman.
And Hickman. Yeah.
Hickman.
That was like the new. Should I say the new boy on the block? Like the new. Who's
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one?
yeah.
Who is this?
No,
Who is this?
so
The new
it wasn't.
superstar.
It wasn't as much Hickman. I would say that it wasn't as much Hickman as much as it was the Avengers movie. So what happened with Hickman is that the Avengers
Okay.
movie came out, and Marvel's like, you know what, we need to start
Yeah.
a new book, start afresh. And
So,
so they
yeah.
brought Hickman to restart the entire story of Avengers using the movie's character as the basis point.
Yes.
So if you want,
and
yeah,
the focus also moved away from X-Men.
exactly. And they were trying to kill X-Men that period as well
That's
because of their whole deal with Fox.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, Hickman started the Avengers with the same heroes from the Avengers movies shortly after the movies came out, and decided to build up the story from there. So people that watched the Avengers movie are looking, oh, what's the new thing to read?
Yeah.
And they jumped into Hickman's
Avengers
comics.
World. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Sure. I did, you're right. That was a push. Avengers, the movies were massive. So let's very clear. 2010 to 2020
2019.
was dominated by the MCU.
Yeah.
There was DC had Dark Knight that same period. In that period,
That was before.
Was it before?
Let's put Dark Knight Rises in the past period. It was DCEU for me.
Okay. I thought one of them crossed over with the MCU.
No, Dark Knight Rises crossed over.
Maybe Rises. Rises.
Okay. Yeah, that. I mean, let's talk about DCU. This is that period as well, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Is that so?
That was Zack Snyder. Yeah, we had.
So you spoke about the 80s. Was it the 80s you spoke about where animation?
90s.
Was it 90s? Animation. Okay, you're right. So animation was the king in terms of comic characters. That's where they ruled beyond the pages. So we say 2010 is when the movies, when comic characters took over the cinema and ruled with an iron fist for almost that whole decade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody could touch it.
Yeah. And I think that's around that period that we also had the Netflix ones, right?
Very good.
That was when we had Daredevil.
We had Netflix. Yes.
So we had like a street level view that they were trying to tangentially refer to the MCU without touching it directly and say, the event. We had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well on ABC.
Yes.
We had Inhumans. That was this was Hall H, right? It was 2010 this is what we have for this next 3 decades. We're doing dropping this. I think this was when there was a lot of now pageantry around comic book movies and like a whole
it's the era. Well, it's the era when the nerd became the king in all aspects of the world. We stepped out and all of a sudden it's popular culture, it's standard culture. Everybody was into MCU. Everybody knew Marvel was. Everybody was doing Marvel versus DC. All of a sudden, all you nerds, not me, came out of your little closets, walked up from the dungeon into daylight, and you were seeing us as kings. It was a weird. It's a weird place to live through. I must be honest.
Yeah, very strange. Very, very strange.
Where something you've been dreaded for almost all your life became the one that everybody was into. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
How did this affect comic books being released in that period?
Why are you asking such difficult questions, man?
No, because that's the focus of the discussion, right? Like how comic books have evolved, how the characters have changed.
Okay, I think certain comics got a boost. I don't think there's a massive boost overall to comic reading itself.
Not really at all.
Yeah,
I don't think people that were not reading comic books started reading comic books because of either one of these two universes. I don't think so, because I remember that this was to be fair, this was in 2008, I think. Do you remember this series called Fear Itself? Was it Fear Itself?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I think that was like 2011.
We've seen. Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was like 2011. But I remember trying to get my missus then to read Civil War. Not even the tie-ins, though. Just like the main story.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, just read this stuff. I said, like, I don't. She tried to read like the first one, like, no, I can't.
Yeah,
so it was still difficult for non-consumers of the comic book medium to still get their heads around it. And I think it's always been a challenge. If you don't read it, it's difficult to get them into it.
Yeah, and remember, this is the era also. You could now access the story of those comics without reading the comics. You go on YouTube. There's people doing summaries of stories on YouTube.
Of course.
Social media. Somebody will just give you the background story of everything you want to know.
Of course.
Yes, and also this was the period of we got frequent cycles in comics where everybody's always renumbering. Like New 52 Field, we are going back to number 1 again. Every comic was going back to number 1 in quick cycles of let's try because
I think that to me that was the biggest impact of the movies had on the comic was the comics now became further to the movies.
For the movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So every movie that is coming out needs to have a comic book coming out as well to try and capture some sales, and that's to be new enough to bring in new readers as well. Yeah. And then if you track,
I was going to say, I think a lot of writers in that period, in my view, started writing with the idea of a movie in their heads
in mind,
or a TV series, and you can see it in their writing.
No, I think that would be more now than earlier.
Okay.
Then, more of now because back then, what's this thing called? DC were doing their New 52 stuff, and even in sales, we could see the peaks and falls of sales. It became so bad that this was doing a crisis every other year. They are always researching their universe, and you see, people will be interested for the first few issues. When they'll do rebirth, it will fall down. They'll do convergence of metal, it will go up, they'll fall down. Marvel was always renumbering their comics. After every event they had, like after Hickman finished his event, they'll renumber. They'll do all new, they'll renumber. And I think it broke comics for me in a way.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
It did.
Because
for me was like the biggest impact in terms of comics. But in terms of the heroes themselves, how do you guys think it changed? How do we view like the heroes that came out in this age versus previously?
What new heroes?
No, even the old ones. How have their characters changed?
So it's quite interesting because I never really saw Tony Stark as okay. I know this is weird. So Tony Stark has always been the playboy guy, right? But I realized that after Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal, everybody tries to make him a sassy, quippy. He wasn't really like that. Yeah, a very back and forth, very back and forth. He wasn't really.
That was a movie. That was a movie.
That was the movie kind of influencing. Yeah, and he's been that way ever since now. You know, he will always talk about, it's almost like he's always saying like playboy, billionaire, philanthropist, fine boy, sexy guy. He was always the playboy, but he didn't almost need to verbalize it. Now.
Would you say that Iron Man was the most influenced character by the movies in the comics?
I felt it a lot with him.
It wasn't even in Iron Man 1 as much as it was in Avengers when Whedon took over. And Whedon has this game for quick, snappy dialogue.
That's the thing. Yeah. Because even to date, I know I'm jumping to 2020s, but he's that always has something to say, always has, so it's kind of influenced the way he's being written. What's her name? What's her name? Carol Danvers. Now, I don't know. I didn't really know her much as binary, to be honest. But she's very much the soldier now as well, which I don't know whether that's down to Brie Larson. So let me not say anything.
No, it's not down to Brie Larson was copying the comic book. The comic book Brie Larson was based on by Kelly. Was based on Kelly Jasonic, and Kelly's run was a run she self-funded herself, self-promoted herself to make it sell. And that's like one of the icons. She's the one that changed the uniform from the pants to the trousers and the uniform.
From the sash.
From the
sash, exactly. She removed all that nonsense and made her like she's a military person and all of that.
That was hella nonsense.
Yeah.
That was hella
for this thing, right? That was one of my favorite costumes, though.
Of course,
it was very, it was very obviously, female.
Yeah, female form.
Female form. It was awesome. But when she made that change, it just makes so much sense that you wonder how long. Why did it take us so long
for them to do that?
For someone who's a military officer to decide to wear a military officer type costume. You'd have thought that would have been like instead of her wearing the bikini. Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
No. I'm piggybacking off of what you said because a lot of female characters now don't really wear the leotard anymore.
Yeah.
Even what's her name? What's that girl's name? Muscle Girl. She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She wears almost like a gym.
Yeah, gym
wear. She wears gym pants.
Yeah.
You know,
The holdout is going to be Zatanna. Everybody else.
Well,
Zatanna and what's that girl's
um,
name? Black Cat.
Black Canary.
Black Canary. True.
I think Black Canaries, they've changed Black Canary back and forth for a while now. I won't be surprised if Black
she still
Canary
wears the
lands in
fishnets.
the.
Yeah.
But does Satana still wear fishnets? I thought she's touching the
She does.
trousers.
No, she wears fishnets. She wears
She
fishnets.
still wears fishnets.
She can wear fishnets and shorts. But she wears fishnets.
But she still wears fishnets.
Yeah, because even Psylocke, who was like the main sexy babe,
but
she now wears this thing as well.
But you still got Wonder Woman now, Wonder Woman in pants now.
Wonder Woman changed from pants to armor.
What is that thing called that gladiators wear? Like the gladiators.
Which is even worse than a pant now.
It's no longer what's this thing called?
No. It's no like, longer. That's what military wear now. That's what like olden day gladiators, Roman warriors, Greco-Roman warriors. That's what they wear.
Yeah, like they're shooting
just below the panty line.
The licenses were taken, but they tried to shift away from. Like there was a time Wonder Woman changed to trousers completely. I think for the 2000s, she was wearing trousers.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. For me, I thought about when she was actually an agent, but I know what you mean.
When she was an agent, she was wearing trousers completely. But like they tried to shift away from just male-gaze female superheroes to functional costumes.
Who are the new ones? Who are the new heroes?
Which like
from what? From when?
From in the 2010s.
10s to now.
Yeah.
You mentioned Kamala. Till now or till just 10s?
No, to now.
Kamala, Naomi,
Sojourner, the Black Wally West.
Who's the Black Wally West? Oh, is that female? Female?
Female.
Yeah.
Female. Yeah.
I'm trying to look at what Kat was saying about in terms of the type of costumes they're now wearing versus the sexy body, the sexy skin tight.
They are still sexy, but their costumes have changed. It's no longer revealing skin. Yeah. It's now form fitting.
Is it form fitting?
It's usually form fitting.
What is the Bendis girl? What does she wear? It's not form fitting. What does she wear?
She's a kid now. Naomi's a kid.
No.
Okay, who's
Riri is a new female character.
She's an Iron Man type.
Lunella is a new female character.
Again, so she's a kid as well, though. Fair to fair.
Yeah. No.
You can't sexualize a kid.
I'm not sexualizing that. No, you just said
they don't sexualize kids like that in terms of their costumes.
So I'm trying to see, is there anybody recently, female, adults, but not got a sexualized costume? And I can't.
What's the other girl's
they
name?
Don't.
Cruz.
Like, what's the new Wonder Woman girl? The new Wonder girl.
Cruz.
Jessica Cruz.
Sojourner.
No, the Wonder girl. What's her name again?
Yora Flo.
Yeah.
Yora Flora.
Yeah, she's basically just like Wonder Woman. Like
she's. I think. I mean, she wears a leotard and stuff, but she's not drawn in a particularly super sexy way.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. I mean, when you're not Frank Cho, I think Frank Cho's the only one that insists on.
Yeah, so they still sexualize them, but there's no point in them wearing this impractical fish bikini and skirts costumes anymore.
Yeah. Well,
even I don't know whether I'm now immune to it, but even Power Girl is no longer that sex pot type. Or
she still has it, but like they've reduced it. Sometimes it's completely gone.
It's just kind of subtly downplayed.
I think that's mostly because now that she's written by other women.
Yeah, like it's no longer men just drawing for men.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's basically no longer men just drawing. Because I mean, the 90s, the image, especially image, I mean, crazy. Gender team was crazy.
Madureira.
Who was J. Scott Campbell?
Oh,
yeah, crazy.
And what was that controversial Spider-Woman pose?
Yeah, that was Francho. Yeah, it was fun too. Some of that was wild back then, but again, you've got women writing for women now. Like, there is a way. I don't know if you have you guys been reading the She-Hulk?
Yeah. I like it actually. I quite enjoy it.
It is a very good book.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
It's a very Black Jack with Jack of all trades.
And it's not even. I don't know why it's understated, underrated, but it's just good. It's just easy read.
It's not loud. It's an easy read.
Yeah.
And she's sexy without being slutty.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, because you part of She-Hulk's appeal has been she's quite sexy when she's big. You know. But this one, she's big, but her face is drawn very nice. Her hair is big. She looks like a beautiful woman, but not overly sexualized. She wear like a pantsuit, and you're like, oh, this is a nice looking. You know, so I think that the focus has moved a lot from over sexualizing the female form or female characters. Even the one that Sam Pereira and Tom King are doing for Wonder Woman, like,
fair enough.
She's more like a warrior.
I actually like the look they have for her in that book.
It's good. She's big. And she's big. She's like Bada.
Yeah,
like,
she's tall. Yeah. Oh, I love
Bada. Like big Bada.
Bada's one of my favorite characters.
Bada is a hot babe.
Yeah.
So,
hot babe.
Female, that's one big thing that has happened for female characters.
We've got more women. More women dictating how they want their characters to look.
So where are we now? I'm lost.
No. We combine the 2010s and 2020s. So we are doing it as
if I'm going to separate the 2010s and 2020s, I'll start from what's this thing called? I'll start from down. And I'll include like X-Men from Krakoa X-Men. And then I'll remove all the nonsense DC has been doing and start now. From Absolute Comics going forward.
So you want to skip 4 years?
Yeah. Because it's been nonsense for 4 years.
It's a 4-year journey. You want to remove 4 years?
It's been nonsense.
Krakoa is such a funny time.
So let's be very clear. The Krakoa books for me, House of X, House of Power, all the way to the Fall. I enjoy that ride. I won't lie. We're now in the aftermath. I think your biggest issue is where it led to, more than the actual quality of the book itself. You did not like where it led.
I didn't like the end, the fall, and I don't like the aftermath. Like from the fall to the aftermath, I don't like it.
Okay. It was
so
yeah.
The Krakoa age.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even a mutant, but if I was a mutant after that Krakoa age, I would probably kill myself because I'll be like, I can't go from that kind of Nirvana golden age to this shit that I'm reading the X books now, and every time I'll just be like, and I read that like say I get exam, like say I get thesis, like I have no joy. Like whether it's NYX, Uncanny X-Men, etc.
We had this argument last week, Kex. I had this argument with Darkwood last week because of Storm. Because of Storm issue 1, we had this argument last week. I'm like, you cannot come from Krakoa and say you are running for senator, and you are being bothered about how humans feel. It's like it doesn't compute.
Problems you have overcome. Now I'm like, where do you want me to start? Like, where do you want me as a reader to even start?
I will say this now: the way the comics are now are currently almost all the X books. And a place where they could easily have been in that place in the 90s.
Exactly. Absolutely.
They went back.
There's a massive step backwards. Massive step backwards. So again, to move from that golden age to this, it's a difficult thing for you have so many of these books. None of them is particularly interesting. You know,
I have to agree. I think the one I like the most, and that's I'm saying I like the most, doesn't mean I think it's top tier.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, and this is how bad it is. I don't know what the title is called because there's so many of them now.
Yeah,
it's the one with Kamala and Prodigy and
one
of the cuckoo sisters.
Yeah, one of the Stafford cuckoos. Yeah,
I can't remember. Is that exceptional? I can't remember.
I don't know. Yeah. So they are in a difficult place now with writing enough to make us care about what's going on, or to even make these characters compelling from what they've been through, like even in terms of the trauma of the massive loss. Like you've lost your home now. So all these small petty things. Right? I used to say you're not going to kill people. I used to say you're not going to kill humans.
I used to say you're bothered about how humans feel.
How are you going to sell it to me? Yeah. So it's challenging from
For me, for the next era that I'm going to be counting is from Absolute and Ultimate Comics. And this is me being super optimistic that both runs give us what we had with Ultimates in 2 decades ago. Like they lead to that kind of stories. Because
sorry, it's almost like you're setting yourself up for
failure. But like
it's absolute. The Absolute books, are they not predetermined to be only like 5 issues?
No, just the first acts.
No.
That's the first act.
No.
So they're all going to be ongoing based on sales.
Yeah, he said several years.
And the Ultimates, isn't that also predetermined?
I don't know about the Ultimates.
I don't think it's predetermined as well. I think it's going to be based on sales.
Respectfully.
I can respectfully,
take Ultimates X-Men from that girl, or just stop printing it. Just please stop. I don't mean bitch. I beg, no vex. I beg.
Who was I talking to about this? I don't know. How that book even fits. It's confusing me.
It's no.
It doesn't fit. They just got this girl here. You have a big webtoon fan base. Come and write a book for us. Call it X-Men and bring your fans along. And do your own story. She's doing her own fan fiction in X-Men universe.
It's fan fiction. It's Yama. Oh God.
It's not it's not for you. It does not make it Yama.
Okay.
The people she's writing for, they might like it.
I read. It's funny you said this. I read the last issues today because if you sat there, let me read it, and I read it. And it was reading it. I get, what is this person doing?
It's like
it's
like somebody has a small stone, a statue. It's too Japanese. It's
the issue is for me. It's not that how bad the book. Well, I won't say it's bad, but it's not. Why is it not ultimate book?
It's because it's the Ultimate is a universe where anything can happen. Like it's not tied to any existing stories.
Even this is too much for the.
So I don't know if you guys
are reading it, but like I get their logic behind it. They are getting, our webtoons are a lot more popular than comic books nowadays. I think she had more readers than comic books. So this is a way for them to get those fans interested in X-Men, and she's doing her own version.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure they give her just, write anything you want, just go, as long as your fans are reading.
Even we will not edit it. Write whatever you want. Because clearly there's no editorial process.
Yeah. My prediction, by this time, 2025, both those books will be gone.
Which ones?
Both the DC one and the Ultimate and Absolute.
No.
I doubt.
Absolute, I think it's going to run. I think Absolute is going to run.
I think Absolute will run for at least 2 years.
At
least.
I'll be there, but I don't have any faith.
Okay. I will tell you why I think so. It might not. You're right, but because of the caliber of writers that they've gotten.
So Jason's going to stay around, right? You think Jason's going to stay?
Yes.
I don't think it's short-term contract.
Jason is the kind of guy that does long-term books.
They specifically asked Snyder, and he said that, no, that this is not a ending in 13 issues.
Snyder can stay because Snyder's a DC for life person now. He's almost part of the furniture. It's people like Jason.
Listen, why I said Jason was is that Jason Aaron. Why I said Jason was is that he has done something similar with Thor. Where he has this mega arc he's trying to tell.
You know what he'll do?
Yeah.
You know what he'll do? We'll just hand it over to somebody else now.
That's what he should finish.
It's just like, sorry, no, I understand what you're saying. He will do his 4-5 arcs, maybe 20 issues. I hand it over to
exactly.
That's what he did with Thor. That he gave it to
Thor.
that Norwegian lady, Grundig, something.
Oh, fuck.
Or yeah, like and the quality. Sorry,
What's her name? Tor Gondik. I
yeah,
think
Grundig something or so. Yeah,
Tor Gondik.
something like that. Yeah, Thorin something.
Hmm.
But the quality at some points, I promise, is going to drop because he's going to hand it to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't mind it dropping
No,
per
I know.
se.
But
And
I'm just
you
saying.
know, DC. The thing about DC is that they have what's this thing called right now. They are very good writers. Like their writing, their
Absolutely,
writers
100%.
roster is
Yeah,
is the best we
yeah,
have. Like yeah, so
right.
DC can always if they are say, oh, this is a premium book, get a premium writer to write on it. They can always do that.
Mhm.
But if they keep and we said the same thing about Black Label, and Black Label is still running till today, but
Mhm.
and they are still churning out quality books. This book is basically an extension of Black Label. Come and tell your own stories.
Mm.
Yeah, but
So
even
yeah,
okay, so look at Black
No,
Label.
beyond. Sorry, what did you say that one?
Even those Black Label books, you say they're churning them out. They're not really. They do four issues of one. Then we go to
yeah.
that
No,
story. It's not a
my
continuous story.
disagree.
It's not. Yeah, go on.
Why I disagree with the Black Label type of
Comparison
for Absolute is, I think Absolute is gonna
long
run.
term.
I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
long term.
And I'm guessing they will cross over at some point.
Yeah,
At some
100%.
point.
Absolutely,
Right, yeah.
absolutely.
But
Yeah, it's not
hope here's my hope that they keep the crossovers for like they just copy the ultimate tagline where they keep it from the main universe as long as possible. But that's where my
Oh, sorry.
yes.
When I said crossover, I didn't mean with normal DC Universal. I mean with each other.
with each other.
Oh, they will now.
Yeah,
They will soon.
yeah,
And
they
like after
will.
the first,
They will.
after the
They
first
will.
two acts, they will start
Yeah,
crossing over.
yeah.
We'll have the ultimate absolute Justice League.
Yeah, because the reason why they've gotten this, you can't keep such a strong cadre or caliber of writers that they've got. Like, I mean, Jeff Lemire, Jason
Al
Aaron,
Elwin, Jason
Alden,
Aaron's,
there are too many,
Snyder,
they are too strong.
Everything's different.
What?
Green Lantern.
Yeah, you can't keep them together for so long.
Do we know which Green Lantern is using?
Sojourner.
Oh, okay.
I think Sojourner and someone else.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that it is what they said. What they said is, go and think of your own idea. Bring this is your character we're giving you. Bring your interpretation of how this character is going to exist in this world, what their backstory is, blah 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 blah. Set them up for the next 15 issues.
Yeah.
Then we'll renegotiate or look at your this thing and hand it over to somebody else. I'm willing to bet is an ongoing thing, especially if it does so well. So they might not stay there forever, you know,
But for the next few years.
Do your work, set it
Yeah.
up, make it strong. It's not like the Hickman thing. Give it a strong grounding, pass it on to somebody else, and then we'll run with it.
And if we get an Hickman level run, like he did with Avengers, like just give me, I'm not too greedy, give me 50 issues per book.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That's fine.
I know you guys love the Superman. I like the Superman.
Yeah.
I liked it.
But you don't love it.
But I love that Wonder Woman. I like that Wonder Woman. And I'm not a Wonder Woman.
That one was the one that was the weakest.
Yeah, he said he didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Wonder. Batman is my weakest. The size of that guy is blowing my mind. So when I see it, I'm like, is this a joke? I feel like they're kidding.
Yeah.
You know, and then the whole bats.
Wait, sorry. Is it me? Does it even look Asian? Like its facial features look.
I understand.
Not pure.
Non-Caucasian.
Yeah.
His face to me looks like Dick Grayson's face a little, like the hair. Like a Romani gypsy type look. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like the complexion as well is quite bloody. But and then the whole taking the symbol and making like a hammer. I'm like, is this a joke?
See, Batman is ridiculous. The book is ridiculous. But not to get too deep into comics history. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is like tie the.
Can I also say one more thing? And I apologize, Tunde. But
no, it's fine.
One thing that we can use to categorize the 2010s and the 2020s, because we are bunching them together, is there's a lot more representation. I'm talking about in terms of LGBTQ,
Black diversity.
black, non Oibo, because we're having, people like
in the comics or are you talking about general?
comic books. So much so that we're actually changing sexualities of established characters. I'm talking about Bobby Drake and Tim Drake.
I think that would be the tag for this.
Sojourner is a lesbian, right? Joe's a lesbian.
Yes. I'm not sure if she's bi or less, but yes.
Okay, no, I know she sleeps. I know she does women. I don't know if she's
bi. But I don't know if she does men as well.
She does women.
Yeah. But what does she does men?
Sorry?
But what does she does men?
No, I don't know if she does men. I know she does women.
No, she had a guy. She does it. She does. She's bi.
Yeah, she did a man.
There was a guy in the book.
Oh, Vasector. She did it.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Diversity.
That's a good tagline for 2010s. Diversity.
Yeah. I mean, Batwoman.
Is it a good tag? I like diversity like Sojourner type. Mm-hmm. I don't like diversity like Bobby Drake /
No, when I say a good tag, I mean like it's the best representation of what has happened over this period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you think it's actually a good thing or a bad thing,
okay, give me more.
The entire New 52.
Can I tell you more?
Yeah, go on. I want to see. Yeah, go on.
Okay, you want to
Black Wally West?
Yeah.
So Black Wally West.
He's
read my mind.
What is he?
He's black.
He's black.
Iceman became gay.
Yeah, but
yes.
Okay.
Tim Drake became gay.
He's not 2010, is he?
He's 2010.
Who
is he?
New 52 is 2011. He came with New 52 and it was 2011.
Yeah. Black Wally has to be.
That's a terrible one. Again, that's a terrible one. That was terrible.
No. We're just listing
them out. No, we're just throwing them out.
The type of diversity. This whole take a character and then swap him and then sorry, go on.
Yeah. No. I get you. Okay. No, but we're just throwing them out.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Is it Cassandra King?
As Marvel Lenny. Oh, I love Cassandra King.
Iceman already.
No, we said Iceman. Yeah.
Any good one.
I've Marvel done it.
Kamala.
Okay.
Kamala
was is their best.
Kamala. I know if I crack my head, I'll think. I remember.
There must be somebody else.
They've done a lot.
Is Kitty Pryde lesbian?
No.
Because in the latest comic book, the NYX, she was going on a date with a girl.
Yeah, so
on a date.
That's the first hint of that.
That was the first that I've heard of that, because
this is the kind of thing I don't like.
I don't either, but I'm just
that's what happens.
But to be honest, I think there is a lot of new characters, especially in the X books, that are bisexual, gay, which
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, Akihiro is bisexual now. Dakin Yes, he's bisexual.
I think the entire X Factor self, they're all.
Yeah, I think they were all because
X Factor,
North Star is and then we've got exactly. So we've got
Aurora isn't.
Aurora is not in X Factor, is she?
Oh, she's not.
Who's the X Factor?
Aurora.
Aurora.
Oh, shit. I don't think she was in X Factor. This Polaris was in X Factor, if I remember correctly. Either Polaris or her sister. One of
Polaris was in X Factor.
Who's Polaris' sister?
I've forgotten her name.
Oh, Betty Braddock. Betty Braddock is lesbian now.
Yeah, she's lesbian.
My daughter Rachel Summers is lesbian as well. So there's been a lot of forced.
There's been a push for diversity. Yeah.
There's been a push for diversity and so some of it is more organic. Some of it is just like the body. Absolutely.
We forgot the biggest one, Superboy. One of the biggest ones, Superboy.
So that one, to me, that's okay.
I didn't mind it.
New character.
Yeah. I didn't mind it.
That one, 100% on board with it.
I didn't mind it.
It would be like turning Karkat himself into gay.
They want to shut down DC Comics.
Yeah. So I think I think that's the tagline, like you said, Tunde. 2020
Diversity.
now is diversity. There's been a massive push.
Or, as some people
All
say,
kinds of-
woke.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting more and
Yeah.
more of that. Okay.
And now
So-
we are getting more
So
political
do
now.
you predict that's going to be the trend going forward, or will
No.
that be the biggest thing of 2020?
No,
Okay.
No, not for 2020s.
No.
Okay.
I think they've done in their minds, they've done just enough to get by. And it's
Yeah. And to flip it again, it's become normalized. So when it appears again, it becomes less a thing like it was in the 2010s. So when a new character is this, you soon like Kitty went on a date, it's not on news sites. When Iceman kissed the boy, it was everywhere. Yeah. So it becomes less normal, it becomes more normalized. But I think the focus of this decade, at the end of this decade, when we are looking back, will be the politics. We'll go back to politics. Because take the all absolute comics, where they are really pushing back on industrialists, like pushing back on big tech.
Social issues.
Yes. I think it will be a big focus of comic books this year. Especially the kind of social issues we are currently facing, where absolute or is now underdog versus rich people. It's going to be your heroes are going to be more of that level.
Which kind of echoing what's going on in society at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Which also actually goes hand in hand with this. I think there's going to be a lot of pushback as well. I mean, when you push back in the comics, there'll be a lot of debating of social ideologies. What doesn't work? Because there's always this question, and I've always thought to myself, I would say the world is unfair. The world, is blatantly unfair. Things should be done. But then when you ask me, what should we do? Is it right to violently overthrow things? Is it right to kill people to get? I would then push back. Oh no, that's not out of order. But then how do you change things?
Those are questions that we'll be asking in this decade.
Okay.
A lot. My hope is that we're going to see a lot more comics like that. Because even the standard format of superheroes, it's already problematic in this day and age, where they are upholding the status quo. They are always on the side of maintaining what's it called? Things. And right now that we see the same things as unfair. So we have this, they have to change ideologies. It's no longer about upholding status quo, but like fighting the institutionalized oppression we face. That's why Superman is now poor. That's why Batman, if you notice, Batman, even in the main comics, is no longer a billionaire. Because nobody likes billionaires anymore like that. I feel yeah. So I think even Wonder Woman's book, she's fighting politicians, she's fighting politics.
Wonder Woman's book is a very, very strong one. That is true. That is true. She's almost fighting the powers that be. Yeah.
X-Men, the entire arc was this. And even their new books, as bad as they are, it's this. So I think this is the kind of stories we'll be getting more from the comics going into this decade. Especially with who won the election last year. So we'll be seeing more books focused on this.
Okay, that's interesting. I would like to see how they handle this, because it's a topic that can become very preachy or very stupid. Yes. Especially when you know for a fact that in the comics, most likely they will not change the order. Everything always gets reset back to how it is.
I'm going to predict.
Crack-wise is a good example.
Yeah, I'm going to make a very strange prediction today, and I hear your side. I'm going to make a very strange prediction. And this is based off of just my vibe, just my feeling, just maybe what I want to see. We're going to get a lot more bad guy comic books, or comic books with bad guys as the protagonists. Like, we'll get more. I mean, we've been having lots of Joker books anyway, where Joker is the main character. We've just had the Tom King Penguin. That's Black Label. But I think that I would like to see more a Lex Luthor book. I mean, when he gets his memory back. A book about that is a Lex Luthor book, almost like the that Iron Man book that Dr. Doom did. And I know we are expecting to have a Dr. Doom, like Doom Supreme, whatever.
An arc. An arc.
Where he's an arc. So I'm hoping we have a Namor one now, although it's 4 issues.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that we get more bad guy or anti-hero is the main focus that we are following on his evil journey.
What I'm predicting is the opposite of that.
Okay.
The heroes would now be following the villains' policies.
Okay.
So the heroes will no longer be the institution. Like instead of it's now be, for example, let's use Aquaman and this thing. Aquaman will now be the underdog, not the king, fighting politics against the king. Where that will now be Namor. It will now be a case of the heroes are the ones pushing for change, and the villains are the ones trying to keep things the same.
That's cool. Yeah.
If I push your narrative to the logical conclusion, are you saying that the absolute Justice League will be a terrorist group, or will be deemed a terrorist group?
Will be deemed a terrorist group because the media will be against them.
Okay.
So that's the kind of stories we would be getting going forward.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Because in the modern, if the Justice League were around now, nobody would call them heroes like that. There will be that pushback for them being terrorists.
Is the Justice League back?
Yes, they are back now in the main comics.
Yeah, I knew they
have this big watchtower.
They are back. They are big and they're massive.
Wow. Okay.
It's Justice League Unlimited, basically.
Yes.
Okay. I need to catch up because the last I checked, it was Teen Titans that were the. But okay, cool. Anything else that we need to cover on?
Where we've gone way.
This was good. This was good. I wasn't even not watching. Next week, guys, we will talk about some more comic books next week. When is Craven coming out, by the way, guys?
December 23rd.
It's still far.
Yeah. These people have liver. They want to release this movie in December. They think it's a Christmas movie.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Craven will hunt Turkey. Craven will hunt Turkey for us.
You know what?
We have something coming out before next week that we'll be talking about.
Oh, what?
Creature Commandos is December 5th.
Is that next week?
No, it's not next week. It's upper week.
It's
it's a week after that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll do some more comic books.
Let's do comic books. Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be fair, I mean, Venom, Save the Last Dance or whatever, has made 450 million on a 120 budget.
More than Joker too.
I mean, who's that? I mean, it's made almost 4 times. It's one of the highest grossing movies of 2024.
How can a 400 million be on top 10 grossing movies of the year?
Come on.
This year has not been good for box office.
Is it for all movies, not just
for 2024, not TBN?
Yeah, all movies.
For one of the highest grossing movies of 2024.
I need to go the whole list now.
Yeah.
I mean, so I understand Sony's feeling confident, but they have to remember that the appeal of that film, a lot of it is Tom Hardy. A lot of people like
it's Tom Hardy. It's not anybody else. It's Tom Hardy.
So I don't know what they are thinking about this Christmas thing for
I mean,
but anyway.
No,
if they are lucky, they are lucky. If they are not, well,
it's number 7 now.
They lose not.
Yeah, it's on top 10. 400 million.
That
is yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Comic books next week, guys. So join us. This be episode 210 of Naija's Geeking. Remember to rate, like, subscribe on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll see you next week. Tunde.
Yes, bye, guys. See you next week.
That all.
Thanks for listening once again, and I'll see you later.